Canada faces pushback as temporary residents challenge expectations to leave. Welcome back to Canada Chronicles. Today, we're diving into a pressing issue at the heart of Canada's immigration landscape. Temporary residents are pivotal to Canada's economy and society, yet their future in the country has become a subject of intense debate. Over 3 million temporary residents are living in Canada, contributing to industries and communities nationwide. But recent government policies have sparked significant pushback, raising questions about Canada's identity as a welcoming nation. In this video, we'll break down the complexities of Canada's immigration policies, the struggles of temporary residents, and the ripple effects on housing, labor, and public perception. We'll also explore the bold actions of advocacy groups and the government's response to this unfolding crisis. Stick with us to uncover the full story of temporary residents' pushback, where we'll reveal the human side of this pivotal debate and the defiance shaping it. If you're interested in staying informed on Canada's immigration challenges or exploring solutions, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for Canada Chronicles. You won't want to miss a moment. Let's get started. A growing population and shifting policies. Canada has built a global reputation for welcoming newcomers. Its diverse population and inclusive policies have made it a destination for millions seeking better opportunities. Among these are temporary residents, whose presence is essential to the country's labor market, educational institutions, and local communities. In 2024, more than 3 million temporary residents are part of Canada's population. This includes international students driving academic growth, temporary foreign workers addressing labor shortages, and visitors enriching the country's economy. While their contributions are undeniable, their growing numbers have put pressure on housing, infrastructure, and public services. Cities like Toronto and Vancouver, already grappling with high demand for housing, have struggled to keep up. In response, the federal government announced the 2025 to 2027 Immigration Levels Plan, which seeks to scale back temporary migration and focus more on permanent pathways. The government aims to balance population growth with sustainable housing and infrastructure development, but the policies have ignited a firestorm of debate. Advocacy groups argue that the government's plans overlook the vital roles temporary residents play. They say these migrants are not just numbers but individuals who have built lives and futures in Canada. The tension highlights the struggle to balance a pragmatic approach to immigration with Canada's commitment to inclusivity. Temporary residents push back. Thanks for staying with us this far. We appreciate your time and hope you're finding this information valuable. Amid the government's new policies, resistance from temporary residents and their supporters is growing. One of the most outspoken groups, the Migrant Workers Alliance for Change, has taken the lead in calling out the government. This organization represents thousands of workers and migrants who feel that their contributions are being minimized. During a recent parliamentary committee session, representatives from the Migrant Workers Alliance for Change directly challenged Immigration Minister Marc Miller. In a striking moment, one advocate declared, "We are human beings, not taps to be turned on and off." This powerful statement reflects the frustrations of temporary residents who feel their lives and efforts are treated as expendable. Advocacy groups are demanding systemic reforms, including permanent residency pathways for all temporary migrants. They argue that Canada's reliance on temporary residents is foundational to its success, from agriculture to education, and that these workers and students deserve opportunities for stability and inclusion. The pushback has sparked a national conversation, exposing the complexity of Canada's immigration system and its impact on millions of lives. The government's stance and expectations. The government's position is rooted in ensuring order and practicality. Temporary residents are expected to leave Canada when their visas expire unless they renew their permits or qualify for permanent residency. Immigration Minister Marc Miller has reinforced this expectation, stating, "The vast majority leave voluntarily, and that's what's expected." This framework has long been a cornerstone of Canada's immigration policies, which view temporary migration as a means to meet short-term needs. However, the scale of temporary migration today presents new challenges. With over 4.9 million temporary visas set to expire next year, the government is tasked with enforcing compliance while managing administrative backlogs. Critics of the current system argue that the expectation for voluntary departures fails to account for the human and logistical complexities of migration. Temporary residents often establish deep roots in their communities, making the decision to leave more than just a legal obligation. It becomes a deeply personal upheaval. For many, leaving means disrupting careers, uprooting families, and severing social ties. Advocacy groups have called for policies that reflect this reality, suggesting that the government expand programs to offer more permanent residency options for those who have demonstrated long-term commitment to Canada. Many temporary residents, particularly international students, have sought alternative ways to stay. In 2024, over 12,000 asylum claims were filed by students whose visas had expired, adding strain to Canada's refugee system. These trends raise critical questions about the fairness and sustainability of current policies. Economic impact and the role of temporary residents. Temporary residents are crucial to Canada's economy, supporting key sectors like agriculture, caregiving, and technology. Workers in the agricultural sector, for instance, ensure the production and distribution of food, while caregivers provide essential services to an aging population. In technology and innovation, skilled graduates from Canada's universities bring fresh talent to the workforce, addressing critical skill shortages. Beyond their direct economic contributions, temporary residents help sustain regional communities that might otherwise struggle with population decline. Rural areas, in particular, have seen significant benefits from the presence of temporary foreign workers, who fill roles that local populations are unable to meet. These workers not only provide critical labor but also bring cultural diversity to communities, enriching local life and helping small businesses thrive in areas that might otherwise face economic stagnation. International students also play a significant role. They contribute billions of dollars to the education system and often transition into the workforce, filling gaps in industries like engineering, health sciences, and business. Programs like the post-graduation work permit allow these students to gain valuable Canadian work experience and contribute further. Despite these contributions, the government's focus on reducing temporary migration has led to concerns about labor shortages. Employers in agriculture and other sectors heavily reliant on foreign workers have voiced fears of disrupted productivity. Critics argue that prioritizing high-skilled immigrants, while necessary, risks sidelining the contributions of lower-skilled workers who are equally vital. The housing crisis. A major driver. Canada's housing crisis has become a key driver of immigration policy changes. Cities such as Toronto and Vancouver are grappling with skyrocketing rents and dwindling affordable housing options. Immigration, including the arrival of temporary residents, has been linked to increasing housing demand, prompting the government to take action. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau recently acknowledged the issue, stating, "Looking back, we could have acted quicker and turned off the taps faster." This reflects the government's intent to align immigration with housing capacity. Measures such as capping international student visas aim to ease pressures in overcrowded urban areas. However, housing advocates argue that blaming immigration oversimplifies a complex issue. They point to factors like real estate speculation, restrictive zoning laws, and insufficient affordable housing projects as the true culprits. These systemic problems must be addressed alongside immigration policies to ensure a balanced approach to Canada's housing crisis. Legal and ethical concerns. Efforts to fast-track the refusal of low-probability refugee claims have sparked ethical and legal debates. Critics warn that such measures could undermine the rights of asylum seekers and create disparities in the system. Temporary residents filing asylum claims as a last resort may face expedited deportation, raising concerns about fairness and due process. Advocates stress the importance of protecting Canada's reputation as a compassionate and just nation. Policies that prioritize efficiency must also respect the human rights of those seeking refuge and opportunity. Finding solutions, addressing the pushback. The tension between the government and temporary residents highlights the need for thoughtful and inclusive solutions. Several approaches could help bridge the gap. Expanding permanent residency pathways. Programs designed to offer permanent residency to temporary workers and students could be scaled up, recognizing their long-term contributions. Addressing housing affordability. Reforming zoning laws, cracking down on speculation, and investing in affordable housing are critical to alleviating pressure on housing markets. Supporting temporary residents. Providing resources like legal aid, language training, and job placement services can empower migrants to navigate the system more effectively. Balancing immigration levels. A balanced mix of temporary and permanent immigration can help address labor needs while managing population growth sustainably. Fostering dialogue. Transparent communication between policymakers, advocacy groups, and the public can reduce polarization and build trust in Canada's immigration system. Canada is at a crossroads in its immigration journey. Temporary residents are no longer just filling gaps, they are shaping the nation's future. As we've seen, the policies being debated today have far-reaching implications for individuals, industries, and the country as a whole. Thank you for watching Canada Chronicles. If you found this video insightful, share your thoughts in the comments. How can Canada balance economic needs with fairness and compassion in its immigration policies? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates. We'll see you next time.